Hi, my name is Brien. I'm a secondary school teacher here in Dublin in Chanel College. It's an all-boys school over in Coolock, and I teach business and economics. So just to get straight into what my action research was about, it's about creating an online interactive training course and a supplementary journal to enable students to become self-regulated learners. So the reason why I chose action research is because I, as a researcher and a practitioner, can become involved in the research and work collaboratively with others in order to make an improvement in my workplace. So the key word in my title is self-regulation. And instead of me actually explaining to you what self-regulation is, I'm just going to show you a short clip from an animation video that I included in my course to explain self-regulation.
Self-regulation is about how students become masters of their own learning. It is made up of 3 key ingredients. Firstly, being aware of your own thinking. Secondly, learning how to motivate yourself. And thirdly, being able to choose between different learning strategies that can help you reach your goals.
Okay, so that's what self-regulation is. I'm going to ask you again the definition at the end just to see who remembers. So the rationale and significance of my research, how I came to become interested in the whole concept of self-regulation is a huge part of the MIM programme is reflecting on yourself, your educational values, and also on your practice. And it was through this reflective process that I discovered an issue at work. So I also work in a deaf school, as I said earlier, and a large cohort of our students come from disadvantaged backgrounds. And a direct result of that, or consequence of that, can be is that they have poor learning academic outcomes compared to other students. So I especially had this issue with my senior level students. In 5th year. There was such mediating factors such as the fact that they lack independent learning skills, that they lacked motivation, they were procrastinating, and they also lacked self-efficacy, a belief in themselves. And from a wider perspective, research shows that in entering 3rd level education, students it has been shown that students lack independent learning skills and the ability to study and also reflect on their learning, which is critical for critical thinking. Through the NCCA is the National Council for Curriculum Assessment, and they are actually coming up with a new senior cycle curriculum, and to put emphasis on the importance of students being able to learn and become owners of their own learning. So this again reflects what it is to be a self-regulated learner. Also, not just in school but also in the workplace, to be self-regulated is really important. Managers don't want to have to manage people, they want people to be self-directed. So this isn't just about teaching them a skill for school, it's also about teaching them a skill for work life as well. So from here, what I did then is I began to look at the literature and see what it was saying. So I looked at self-regulation, I looked at motivation and self-efficacy, learning to learn, the use of journals for reflection, and also training. So within self-regulation, I decided to look at a cyclical model of self-regulation because there's a reflection element in it, so that students are reflecting on their learning. With regards to motivation, I'm sure some of you are aware, it's those who work in secondary schools anyway, that students, as they enter adolescence, they become less motivated, and it's very hard to try and motivate themselves. So it's about teaching them to have belief in themselves, and that can be linked to changing their mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. So an example of that is like someone with a fixed mindset will always avoid failure. Someone with a growth mindset will see failure as a learning experience. Okay? In terms of learning to learn, I looked at the importance of being actively engaged in your learning. For students, there is no point in sitting there just staring at a book and hoping that it'll go in. They have to be actively engaged in the process, so that's something that I tried to get across in the training course that I developed. Also, it's one fit does not fit all. You have to find the right fit for yourself, but it's about teaching them that there are different strategies that they can use in order to learn more effectively. With regards to journaling, students aren't familiar with reflection, in my school anyway, in other schools perhaps. So I had to teach them how to reflect on the learning and to participate in it. And it's about teaching them to be personal and candid in their reflections and to move from descriptions of their learning to actually feeling, or to their feelings about what changes they have made to improve their learning. I decided to take a blended learning approach in teaching them how to become self-regulated. Instead of me just having a class, I decided to use my skills that I've learned in the MIM program in using my digital media skills, and also using a blended approach by using the journals as well. So within the implementation, I recruited 30 fifth-year business students back in February or March, and basically it was a 4-week implementation program. In this period, the lads came into the computer room and they took the course in about 30 minutes, and this was hosted on the school website. They were then provided with a GPS journal. From the GPS journal, what they learned on the course, they had to apply what they learned, reflect on the learning, and make adjustments and recommendations for their future learning. So the course was divided into 4 sections. There was an introduction section explaining what is self-regulation, the benefits associated with it. Then there were 3 modules then. The first one was teaching them how to set goals, so SMART goals, how to plan effectively, all about location, how to organise, how to prioritise, the importance of asking for help if they're struggling, things like that. And then the third module was made up of short animation videos of different learning strategies that they can use in order to help them with their study and homework. Because the lads were under 18, obviously I had to take ethical considerations into consideration, in that I had to get permission from the principal, I had to ask the Board of Management for permission, and also get consent from the parents, but I got the go-ahead from everyone, so that was great. Digital media tools that I used Articulate software as my e-learning platform, and then I integrated different other digital media tools such as VideoScribe. That's what I used for the first short video at the start. I used iMovie for the learning strategy animations that I made, and I also used Audacity for audio. So there was a lot of different things to stimulate the lads for the 30 minutes that they were learning how to set goals, plan and study. Throughout the whole process, I was working collaboratively with other teachers. So instead of me coming up with the content for the short videos I made, I asked other teachers to tell me about their subjects, and then that's how I made the videos. Also, I got feedback from the students and the peers on the course as well, and Yvonne. One of the recommendations, for example, was that maybe I should put subtitles over my audio in the course because of the Cork accent, but I said no to that. So as you can see, on the first step, I had a vision, I had a mission starting off on this project. It was basically to enable students to become self-regulated, and that did not change. I did not veer from that. However, my vision, when I came to the end, had changed, and it was through that collaborative process and having others involved in it that helped me make my development what I think is a good, useful artifact and resource that hopefully we'll continue to use in school after this action research. So from a personal point of view, again, I think we all lacked a lot of self-confidence as a group in our creative abilities. I also feel more that I've improved my creative abilities. As a teacher, sometimes I think we compartmentalize ourselves into being a subject specialist. I thought, business economics, that is it. I now know that I'm more than that. I am an educational entrepreneur, and that if I see an issue in school in future that's not just classroom-based or subject-based, I can actually do something to make a change and help improve the situation. From the students' perspective, high-achieving students, so I would have a very mixed ability group of students. The high-achieving students found the self-regulation process extremely effective. They said that they wish they had got it at the start of fifth year, as opposed to the second semester of fifth year. But they said that they will continue to implement the GPS. I should have mentioned that. I was using a play on words, goals, planning, study. So after a while, they started talking to me about, will I take out the GPS journal or the normal journal? So it's about getting that sense of them used to the terminology as well going forward. the low achieving students they absolutely needed more support. So even though they took the training course, they knew that they had to set goals, choose a strategy in order to achieve that goal, and then implement different study strategies and reflect on the process. They found it difficult and they needed more support along the way. But as I said, it was only 4 weeks that I ran the programme, so it has to become integrated across the school and embedded in the culture and get other teachers involved in it as well in order for it to become just a natural, I must, use GPS in order to study effectively. From a work perspective, I'm currently in talks with the career guidance counsellor and the vice principal of how we can include this training programme into senior cycle curriculum. And even someone was just saying to me last night, it should be starting sooner. It should be started in junior cycle, and that's definitely why we shouldn't be waiting until third level in order to teach them of the advantages of goal setting and studying effectively. In class as well, I've become more cognizant of the fact that I should be setting smarter learning outcomes and also giving reflection time to students at the end of class. With regards to future research, because we're from a deaf school, a lot of our parents would need a lot of support in teaching their sons how to study effectively. So I think that's something that we need to do as well, that when this becomes part of the senior cycle curriculum next year, that we have to get parents involved so that they know what we're doing in school, so that we're all working together. Also, that there should be CPD, continuous professional development, for teachers to teach them how to teach self-regulation, because it's something that we just expect from our students. Nobody is taking the responsibility to do it, so something needs to change in that. And as I said, the NCCA are talking about it, but I'd rather be proactive than reactive to that change. Also, if we start teaching our students self-regulation now, the impact that could have on third level attainment, I think, would be extremely significant. So on that note, I'd like to conclude and say thank you for listening. That's it.